All right, welcome to Big Time Basketball, the basketball segment of the Fantasy Fanatics Podcast. I'm your host once again, James, and I'm joined once again by Nate, Terry, and Mete. What's up, guys?
How's it going?
So,
All right, in today's episode, we're just going to jump into more playoff basketball. We got some round two action to talk about. We'll talk about some games from the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then we'll just take a look at some of the Monday games underway as we're recording. Then we'll just head into our series outlooks and just sort of talk about how each series is going. I think one or two of them have already wrapped up, and then we'll just close out with a sort of a preview of Tuesday and Wednesday's game slate. So let's just hop right into it. We'll start with Friday's games in the NBA, a lot of playoff basketball. Let's just touch on some of the games here. The first one, Philadelphia 76ers beating the Atlanta Hawks 127-111. It's a big win for the Sixers. I know that they were disappointing in game one, but in games 2 and 3, they just really came to play. This was game 3, and I guess just a solid effort from both teams, but the 76ers just really, they just went all in, and they just pretty much took this game handily. And Terry, let me just get to you first on this. I guess this puts Philly up 2-1 in the series. I guess what did you think about the way Philly played in this game?
They played great tonight. I mean, you can't really discredit them in any way. With Danny Green going down probably within like the first 5-6 minutes of the game. I mean, they just circled around that injury and then they just helped each other when the time came. I mean, everyone was nailing the shots and the bench was even getting their points in. Where do I even start? Frank Korsman, 14 points. Dwight Howard with the 12. I believe near the end of the quarter, I believe George Hill had a nice three-pointer. And, I mean, they just played great as a team.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we can't discredit what the Hawks did, but Philly was clearly the better team in this game. I guess just looking at some of the stats for Philly in this game, it looks like Joel Embiid did lead them in points in this game with 27. And I mean, he was just fantastic, rebounding 9 to lead the team, as well as leading them in assists with 8. Embiid led them in every single category. He clearly was the best player in this game. And Mete, I'm just going to get to you about the Hawks. I think most of us did take the Sixers to win this series, but you had a little bit of faith in the Hawks that they could maybe win 1 or 2 games. I guess, what do you think of the Hawks so far?
They had a great game one, but the last few games they just haven't been able to win. Talking about this game specifically, I thought they were pretty efficient from the field goal. They shot 48%, but they shot poorly from the three-point line, only 26%. And in today's NBA, we know how important three-point shooting is. Their bench got outplayed by the 76ers bench. Outside of Danilo Gallinari and Lou Williams, they didn't have double-digit scorers. They had Kevin Huerter play 23 minutes, and he only put up 3 points on 1 of 6 shooting. So they need a better game from him. And the starting 5 was actually pretty good, except Solomon Hill. He got 14 minutes as a starter. I feel like Nate McMillan can just drop him from the rotation and start Danilo Gallinari.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at some of the stats here from the Hawks, Trae Young led them in points with 28. And then I guess in rebounds, it was Clint Capella. He added 16 there. And then just looking at the assist leader, it was also Trae Young with 8. So, I mean, this team, they played as well as they could. I know Philly's really cracking down on the defense. I guess, Nate, I'll just get to you. And is Philly's defense just too much for the Hawks to overcome in this series?
It looks like it might be, especially, I guess, with Ben Simmons. I think he's one of the best defenders in the league, especially at his position. So it's gonna be hard when you have people like Danny Green and Ben Simmons guarding your players. But at the same time, the Hawks do have the spacing to kind of make up for the tight defense that 76ers are playing on them. So just like what Mete said, it pretty much comes down to how well they can shoot.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think that the Hawks will need to shoot a bit better. It is tough. Philly is one of the best defensive teams in the league. So I guess we'll have to see what the Hawks do against Philly moving forward. But let's just get into the second game from Friday night. We had the Phoenix Suns beating the Denver Nuggets by a score of 116 to 102. This put them up in the series 3-0. Devin Booker and Chris Paul led the Suns in points with 28 and 27 respectively. And DeAndre Ayton led in rebounds with 15. And then in assists, of course, it was Chris Paul leading with 8 there for the Suns. This time, Mete, I'll start with you. I guess, what did you like from the Suns so far in this game, and I guess in the series in general?
The Suns were very efficient this game. They shot 53% from the field, 46% from three, 90% from free throw, and they only had 12 turnovers, and that's a recipe for success. Like I said, their starting five was very efficient and they had a great performance. But to be specific, Chris Paul, he almost triple doubled. Same for Devin Booker, close to a triple double. And DeAndre Ayton also had a nice double double. The only negative I have for the Suns is their bench could be better as they didn't have any double digit scorers. But outside of that, they played amazing.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at their field goal percentage you were just talking about, there was only one player under 47%, and that was Kaminsky. He only had one shot. So, I mean, if your whole team is shooting over 47%, I think that's pretty much a recipe for success right there. And Nate, I'll get to you sort of on the Nuggets in this game. They really put themselves in a hole going down 3-0 in the series. Nikola Jokic led the team with 32 points, obviously. And I mean, he led in every single other category as well. 20 rebounds, 10 assists. That's a big milestone game for him, the 30, 20, and 10. Um, I guess even with that output from Jokic, it's pretty much just not enough for the Nuggets at this point.
Yeah, and I think Jokic was also ejected from one of those games, if I remember correctly. Um, I guess I was looking at the score sheet here. I guess Austin Rivers, Aaron Gordon, Paul Millsap, they didn't have a great game either. Um, Jokic, like you said, he's not going to be able to do everything by himself. He's going to kind of needs, I guess, people like Aaron Gordon to kind of have good shooting nights as well. I think Will Barton and Monte Morris stepped up, so they're going to have to continue, I guess, playing the way that they've been playing last game, and hopefully they'll be able to at least get one game up, and that's kind of where it starts.
Yeah, for sure. Terry, let me just get to you. I guess if Jamal Murray was playing in this series for the Nuggets, I guess where do you see them stacking up against this Phoenix team? I know, the Phoenix going up 3-0, and then we're going to talk about them eventually winning 4-0. Yeah, I guess where do you see the Nuggets stacking up if they had Jamal Murray in this series?
If you add Jamal Murray into this Denver Nuggets lineup, I feel like they do a little bit better. The series might be 2-1 Phoenix after this game, maybe even, I believe, 1-2 if the Nuggets got lucky. But I feel like this Suns team just is built so well, not just from the three-point line, but we're talking like everywhere on the court. On the defensive end, they do excellent in the mid-range and down in the paint. Their passing is crisp. I mean, you can't really fault the Nuggets. They're just running into a tougher Phoenix Suns team at the moment. Jamal Murray is a big asset to this Nuggets team, as we all know, especially back in the bubble where he was just going off consistently on a night-to-night basis. It does help them just due to the fact that you don't have to rely on guys like Frank Campazzo and Austin Rivers in your starting lineup to do some of the scoring. You just let them do their playmaking and defense, and maybe in another realm, or another universe, this would be a different series.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you could really tell from the Nuggets, I guess, backcourt that they were just not healthy at all. I know that a guy like Will Barton, Monte Morris, and others, they weren't fully healthy in this series. Obviously, Jamal Murray not playing. When you have Rivers and Campazzo starting, like you said, it's just there's not really much that you can do about a backcourt that features both Chris Paul and Devin Booker. So yeah, it's pretty rough for the Nuggets overall. And we'll just get to Saturday's game now. The Clippers beating the Jazz 132-106 at home. And this is pretty much a bounce back for the Clippers. They lost the first two games of the series, but they come back and win game three. Nate, I'll just start with you on the Clippers. I guess we'll just start with the fact that they seem to be going down 2-0 every series, but they really seem to be coming back. I guess, do you think that the Clippers can sort of take this win and move forward to sort of tie the series?
I mean, it's possible, but it's going to be really tough to do against a Jazz team that's as stacked as they are at the moment. I mean, the Clippers, they are also stacked on paper as well. So I guess if all their players have a really good night again, then it's possible.
Yeah, for sure. I guess just looking at some of the stats for the Clippers, it looks like Kawhi Leonard led them in points with 34, but I mean, Paul George also had 31. I mean, he had one of his best playoff performances to date. And then just looking at the rebounds, Kawhi Leonard had a double double, adding 12 rebounds. And then, I mean, he also led them in assists with five to go with Paul George having five also. I mean, those two pretty much put on a clinic. I guess Mete, just getting to you on this. I mean, is Paul George and Kawhi gonna have to carry every night for this team to win, or do they have like other options?
I feel like they definitely need to carry. They are stacked, but it's like when you have Kawhi and Paul George, those two need to be showing up every night. And in game three, they did great. They both had 30 plus points, I believe. Reggie Jackson and Batum also had 17 points each. So it's nice to have that support, but we know in the NBA, it's have tough to have um, performances like that each night. So when you know that your supporting cast won't be consistent, you need to have Kawhi and Paul George, your two star players carry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's pretty much the Clippers' recipe for success. And the games that Paul George was not showing up, it was clear that this Clippers team just couldn't compete against this Jazz team. And Terry, I'll get to you on the Jazz here. It looks like that. Donovan Mitchell was limited in this game. I mean, he still dropped like 30 points to lead the team. Obviously, Gobert leading them in rebounds with 10, and then Mitchell adding 4 assists to lead the team as well. I mean, I guess what does this team need to do that they didn't do in this game? I guess just moving forward in like games 4 and 5.
In games 4 and 5, you just gotta hope that your bench also provides some scoring when you gotta give the starters some rest. I mean, Ersan Ilyasova's only 4 points, even though he went 1 for 2 on shooting. And then you got Georges Nang. I believe he went. Unfortunately, he only had 11 minutes and probably had one shot. But you're hoping for guys like them as well as Derek Favors to help out Jordan Clarkson on the second unit. Uh, this is a team sport, as we all know. Sometimes it's not just the one or two guys that are your stars you rely on. Teams like the Utah Jazz that rely on that system, they need to focus on guys 6 through probably 10 in the rotation to help out the starters. And unfortunately, they didn't get the scoring outside of Jordan Clarkson this game.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think that Utah should be better next game. I know Mike Conley has been out for them, but I think Donovan Mitchell will play in game 4. So that definitely is a good sign for this team. And then just getting to the Sunday scores, The Milwaukee Bucks beating the Brooklyn Nets 107-96. They tie the series at 2-2. Obviously, this is sort of overshadowed by the news of Kyrie Irving's injury. Both him and James Harden are ruled out for Game 5 in the series. This time, Mete, I'm going to start with you. Can Brooklyn win this series with only Kevin Durant in the lineup and those two being out?
I feel like Brooklyn can definitely win the series without their two star players. I say that because I believe in their depth. It's just this game, they weren't good enough. Like, outside of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving was the only double digit scorer in this game, and he only played 17 minutes and got hurt, like we know. I think guys like Blake Griffin, he needs to step up. We know what he's done in the past. And then even guys like Mike James, I'm a fan of. TLC needs to be knocking down his threes. And this game specifically, their efficiency was horrible. He shot 43% from the field, 30% from three, 78% from the line, and 17 turnovers. So when you have a game like that, you're probably not going to win.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just looking at this team, Kevin Durant led them in points with 28, in rebounds with 13, and in assists with 5. So this offense was pretty much running through KD. And I mean, if they put triple coverage on him, I guess, like you're saying, the secondary scorers really got to capitalize. They got to bury their threes. They got to make their layups, do their thing. And I guess, Nate, I'll just get to you on the Milwaukee Bucks. They win this game. They tie up the series. Obviously, Giannis leading them with 34 points. He also leads them in rebounds with 12 in this game, with Drew Holiday adding 9 assists. I guess, what do you think about the Bucks and I guess their chance to win the series since Brooklyn's missing 2 of their stars?
I mean, with Harden and Kyrie out, this is basically their opportunity to kind of take the momentum of the series. And I guess it'll also depend on not just Game 5, but Game 6 and Game 7 as well. I think at this point, we could see a 7-game series between them, depending on how things turn out. But it's possible for the Bucks to take the series, but the Nets are still the Nets, so we'll just have to see.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely something we'll keep an eye on, is the injury status. I know Game 5 might be that opportunity, as both of those players have been ruled out. But I guess, Terry, I'll just get to you. I guess, how are the Nets going to sort of run their offense? Like, I know I mentioned that, of course, they got to give it to KD, but I mean, he can only do so much in like double or triple coverage. So I guess, what do you think that they have to do to sort of efficiently run an offense?
Just to efficiently run an offense, Steve Nash, they brought Steve Nash in the offseason, and he's basically going to have to figure out how to draw up some plays for whether it's Joe Harris, Bruce Brown, Nicholas Claxton coming off the bench, even Blake Griffin. There's only so much you can rely on with your star scorer like Kevin Durant. And having said that, I said it in the previous matchup, it's a team game, and you're going to have to involve the rest of your players. You got guys like DeAndre Jordan, Shamuth coming off the bench as well. I mean, this Brooklyn team should be able to get some scoring coming off the bench, but unfortunately, in the past game or in Game 3, this wasn't the case.
Yeah, for sure. I think that definitely Brooklyn needs to figure out something. And I think, like Nate said, Milwaukee, this is their perfect time to, just grab a win in Brooklyn if possible for Game 5. But let's just move to the final game from Sunday. Obviously, the Phoenix Suns closing out their series against the Nuggets with a 4-0 sweep. They win 125-118. Just looking at some of the stats for Phoenix here, Chris Paul led them in points with 37. What a performance for him. Devin Booker leads in rebounds with 11, and Chris Paul adding 7 assists to lead the team. This time, Terry, I'll start with you. I guess, what do you think of Phoenix's sweep in the series?
Amazing. A lot of people probably expected the Nuggets to put up more of a fight, maybe even win the series just because of the fact they have Nikola Jokic. But as always, I'll still preach it. It's a team sport, and unfortunately, the other guys didn't show up sometimes. I believe this. I hate nitpicking, but I mean, Aaron Gordon 3 for 8. Yeah, he converted his charity stripe numbers, But you're hoping for a little bit more from your what do they call those acquisitions after the deadline? I keep forgetting them.
I call them deadline acquisitions.
Deadline acquisitions. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll probably remember it in another episode. But you're hoping for more coming out of Aaron Gordon. Some nights you just run into the better team, and unfortunately, the Suns were the better team for the Nuggets. Nikola Jokic did get ejected this game, I believe, and the Suns capitalized. Chris Paul, a great playmaker, as we all know, he kept finding the guys that were open, whether it was Booker, Crowder for three, Bridges cutting to the paint, or Ayton inside on the inside, and it was just a better night for the Suns.
Yeah, for sure. I know you were talking about, I guess, Denver's offense not being there. I know Will Barton led them in points with 25. Obviously, you talked about Jokic getting ejected. He still led this team with 11 rebounds in his limited 28 minutes. And then leading them in assists was Monte Morris. Yeah, it was just a tough road for the Nuggets here. I guess, Nate, I'll get to you. Yeah, we talked about them not having Jamal Murray. I mean, and then they didn't even have Jokic for part of this game. I guess sort of what can the Nuggets take from this game, and I guess most importantly this series, I guess moving forward to try and improve their team.
Well, I guess the thing to start with is trying to figure out a way to kind of involve all of their players, not just rely on Jokic and Jamal Murray, as good as those players are. There are still some players that I still think they're really good, like Paul Millsap. He didn't play in game 4. I'm not sure why. I feel like he should have been able to add some value to this team in this game. Aaron Gordon, I think he still has potential on this team as yet another scorer. He just hasn't been able, I guess, to fully adjust yet. It looks like he didn't have the best game, but he's one of those players that he can just get 20 points for you. So hopefully in the future we'll see Aaron Gordon doing that. And there's a lot of good players on Denver. I guess it's just kind of trying to figure out how to incorporate them, maybe add like a couple of more guys, but they should be ready to make another deep playoff run soon.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess, Mete, just finishing off with you, just looking at the way the Suns team pretty much dominated the whole series, how far do you think this will take them?
That's a great question. I feel like if they played the Jazz, they could make the finals, but I feel like the Clippers can give them trouble. I say that because the only issue I see with the Suns is their bench isn't the greatest, even in game 4. Like I was saying last game, their bench had no double-digit scorers. This game was the same. They didn't have the bench scoring, sorry. And yeah, I feel like their bench could hold them back, and with a team that's deep like the Clippers, I feel like they can't match their depth. So it just relies on who they draw in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, like I've noticed even how the Clippers are playing the small ball, and they're sort of forcing the bigs out of the paint from other teams, and then sort of forcing them to guard players at the 3-point line. So they really make it difficult on you. And then, like you said, if they don't have bench scoring, then I think it's easy to eliminate to limit a team. That you're really only getting scoring from your top players, and then the moment they go off, the other team, especially a team like the Clippers, would capitalize. So definitely something to watch out for. And I guess Monday's games are just getting underway as we're recording. I guess I'll quickly get to you guys. I'll start with you, Terry. I guess who do you see winning the 76ers Hawks game?
76ers Hawks game. For some reason, I feel like the 76ers might win this, just because of how Joel Embiid. Hate comparing, but I feel like Joel Embiid as a player is levels above Clint Capella. Clint Capella, let's not forgive me. Let's not what's the word I'm looking for here?
Discredit?
Discredit. Thank you, man. Let's not discredit him. He's a great player and all, but sometimes when Joel Embiid brings him out to the 3-point line or even into the perimeter, I mean, I feel like he just finds a way to drive past him on a couple of the plays. Yes, Capella's a great defender, but sometimes when he gets brought out to the 3-point line, I mean, it's just like he looks lost out there on a play-to-play basis. With Ben Simmons, on the other hand, I mean, they're doing a great job locking down Trae Young. So it's on to the hands of Danilo and Bogdanovich and a couple other guys like Tony Snell to just help out with the scoring and then just bail out their stars.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, Clint Capella has really been getting bullied by Joel Embiid in this series. There's no question about that. And yeah, they're going to need to rely on their scorers. John Collins is another one that they'll definitely need to look to for some big time scoring. And Mete, I'll just get to you. Who do you see winning this game?
I'm also with Terry. I think the Sixers win this game. I think it'll be a close game due to the fact that it's in Atlanta, I believe, and they don't have Danny Green for this game, I think. So, like, a lot of people will say, "Oh, Danny Green's not that great," but I feel like he's a great three and D player. He'll make the open threes and he plays solid defense. So I think Philly wins, but I feel like it'll be a close game.
Yeah, for sure. There's no question about that. And Nate, just getting to you, who do you like in this game?
I think it depends on what Hawks team we see tonight, especially with Danny Green out. It's going to be harder to keep up with the Hawks if for some reason they start shooting lights out, basically. If they have a lights out night, the Hawks have a chance to kind of take the game. But assuming that they don't necessarily have a lights out night and it's like they're kind of good but not quite good enough, then I'd still say the 76ers could take it.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm also going to side with Philly. I just think this Philly team has just played so well defensively. We talked about MB just pretty much owning the paint at this point. He can even shoot from the outside if he needs to. Ben Simmons locking down Trae Young. Obviously, just like giving the Hawks some love in the sense that they are home, like Mete mentioned. They do have a chance. It's probably going to be a close game, like you said. I just really like what Philly's been doing. I feel like that lapse that they had early in the first game is pretty much long gone now. It really looks like the Hawks are on their heels in this series, and I think that Philly just continues their dominance here in Game 4. But let's just move to the later game on Monday, and that's the Utah Jazz at the LA Clippers. Obviously, the Jazz are up 2-1 in the series. This time, Nate, I'll be starting with you. Who do you like in this game?
I think I still kind of like the Jazz, especially with Donovan Mitchell back. Even with the limited minutes he's playing, he's making the most out of every minute that he plays in the game. I think he just scored 32. I don't know if he's going to get 32 again, but he might end up scoring close to that. So and the Jazz are also really deep, so it's going to be hard for the Clippers to kind of keep up with that.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with you. Donovan Mitchell makes this team so much better. He'll definitely be a boost. This will definitely be a close game. Mete, let me get to you now on who do you like in this game?
I'm going with the Clippers. They're home. Like you mentioned, Kawhi likes going down 0-2. I don't think he's ever lost a series when he's fallen behind 0-2. So I feel like the Clippers can pull this out. I'm not sure if Mike Conley's playing. I was
I don't think
checking.
he is. I don't
Okay.
believe he is. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's a big blow for them. And yeah, I'll go with Clippers here.
Yeah, for sure. The Clippers are home, like you mentioned. That's a great spot for them to tie up the series. But Terry, just getting to you on who you like in the game late night.
Thought I would have been the only guy to go with the Clippers, but I mean, I guess everyone realizes what I realized, or everyone just noticed something. Anytime Kawhi goes down 2-0, he's a beast, and then the small ball lineup that they brought out with Serge Ibaka out for the whole playoffs, I mean, it's working for them, and I feel like they're gonna make Rudy Gobert and company have to work their way not just from the paint, but from the outside as well. And I think the series is what 2-1 currently, and probably after tonight it's going to be 3-1. But watch us all be fools and Utah wins this. I won't be surprised.
Yeah, I'm actually going to side with the Clippers here. I just feel like that they really got into rhythm last game. They started playing the way that we know that they can play. Obviously, like Mete, you mentioned, the Clippers usually want to feel teams out a little bit. They usually go down 0-2. And like you said, what they say about Kawhi, he doesn't lose series when he goes down 0-2. So I do like them tying up this series. Um, and I mean, they're at home. Conley's out. Mitchell's not 100%. It's the perfect spot to take this game. I feel like now is the time, if any, if the Clippers want to get back into this series. So definitely going to be a great game, and that's definitely something to look out for. All right, let's just take a look at round two so far. We'll jump into each series and just sort of give our analysis of how our predictions are turning out so far. We'll start with the series that's already finished in the West, the Phoenix Denver series. Obviously, Phoenix swept the series 4-0. I guess, Nate, starting with you, what was your prediction in the series? And I guess, how did it turn out?
I don't quite remember, but I think for the Utah Clippers series, I think I had Utah winning. I don't remember what game. I guess like you guys said, I guess with the Kawhi coming back, Conley is out. They're probably they might tie up the game, so it might end up going to a 7-game series. So I guess I'll go with Utah for that.
All right, yeah, we'll just start with the Jazz series then, since that's the analysis you gave us. Yeah, no, I'm fine jumping right in there. Yeah, I know I had Utah in 6. They are up 2-1 heading into the Monday game, so I think my prediction is looking pretty good so far. I think you did have a 7-game series. I just can't remember which team you had, but yeah, definitely the series is close. And Mete, I'll get to you on the Utah series. I guess, what was your prediction, and how's that series looking?
Like 99% sure I had Clippers in 7. So I think it'll still happen. Like I was saying, Kawhi likes going down 0-2, and we saw what happened with them last year when they had a 3-1 lead. They couldn't get it done. So maybe they just like playing from behind.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you definitely talked about it. The whole 0-2 thing with the Clippers, and especially Kawhi Leonard dating back even to his Raptors days and possibly his Spurs days as well. Yeah, definitely the Clippers feed off of being the underdogs in the series. That's definitely something that they do really well. And I guess, Terry, just getting to you, I guess, what was your prediction and how's it looking?
I think I had Clippers in 6. It looks good at the moment, but I mean, this is the semifinals. Anything can happen.
Yeah, for sure. The Clippers gonna have to go 3 straight for that to happen. So you better keep those fingers crossed that it happens. But yeah, like I said, I had Utah in 6. It's looking pretty good right now. If it goes 2-1 the rest of the way for Utah, they should be able to close it out in 6. But I guess moving on to the series that I was gonna start with, the Finnish series, the sweep for Phoenix. This time, Mete, I'll start with you. I guess, who did you have winning the series, and I guess, how did it turn out?
I'm also pretty certain that for this series I had Suns in 5. I was just 1 game off. I gave the Nuggets 1 game because I wanted to give respect to the MVP Jokic. So I was kind of wrong there. The Suns were just too good, and then we just didn't have enough depth to win a game at least.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Denver could have got that 4th game, if not for the ejection to Jokic. So I think you were pretty spot on, as can be, with the series prediction. And Terry, I'll just get to you, I guess, on what you predicted for this series.
I believe in the last episode I did say Denver, but then right after that, I think I switched up and said Phoenix in 6. Having said that, I expected more from the Nuggets. Unfortunately, it didn't go their way. They ran into a better Phoenix Suns team, and the Suns punched their ticket into the conference finals.
Yeah, for sure. This Suns team really surprised a lot of people with how well they played. And Nate, just getting to you, I guess, who did you have winning and what did you sort of predict for this series?
Well, I didn't predict this sweep. I don't think anyone did. Um, I don't remember which team, but I think it was supposed to be. I feel like it was. I thought it was going to be a 6-game series. Um, I guess I was also expecting the Nuggets to really step up. I was also expecting Jokic to make plays for the team, and I thought with Jokic's playmaking and his scoring, it would be really hard to stop this team. But the Suns found a way to do that.
Yeah, I think from what I remember, you did have Denver in either 6 or 7 in this series. So, yeah, you definitely expected it to be close. But, yeah, Phoenix really put their foot on the gas in this one. And, yeah, I had Phoenix in 6, I believe. And, yeah, like just exactly what we said. Phoenix just cleaned up pretty quick. They made quick work of pretty much both of their series so far. So, I think just heading into the conference finals, they're going to be well rested. They're going to be ready to go. And I think this team can definitely do some damage in the next round. But I guess just moving to the 1-5 series in the East, Philadelphia 76ers and Atlanta Hawks. Terry, let me start with you here. I'm pretty sure you picked Philly to win this, but I guess how many games did you pick them in?
I think I picked them in 6. If they're continuing what they did in the past 2 games, I feel like they might do it quicker. But I feel like Atlanta, behind Trae Young, Clint Capella, and maybe John Collins, they're going to have to steal a game. I don't know if it's going to be the game tonight, maybe tomorrow, but they might get one more game.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the series is sort of going towards that way. So definitely spot on so far. And then Nate, just getting to you, I guess, who did you have in this series?
I think I had Philadelphia in this series. I don't remember how many games. I think it was 6. I mean, Embiid, he's trying to prove that he's the best center in the league. He wants to be one of the great centers that everybody mentions. So he's probably going to be playing his hardest to try to put away the Hawks and get ready for a, a, I guess a game for a win. They probably want to win in 5 games ideally. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. So I probably still say 76ers in 6.
Yeah, definitely shaping out to both of your predictions so far. Just getting to you, Mete, I believe you said the Hawks run will end in this series. I guess how many games did you predict Philly to win?
I'm pretty certain I put Philly in 7. I was a little bit high on them because they made quick work of New York and then they won game 1. So I think I got a little carried away. I feel like Philly will close it in 6 max. But I wouldn't even be surprised if they won in 5 games.
Yeah, definitely. Philly has just really turned things around since that first half of game 1. They almost came back and won that game. I believe they only lost by 4 there, and then they just took the series by the horns at that point. I believe I had Philly in 5. It might have been 6. Sort of leaning that way as the series goes along. I think Philly can close it out at home in 5, definitely. This Philly team's very good. They're very strong all over the court. There's not a lot Atlanta can do when Philly's really clamping down on defense. So I think that our predictions are pretty much looking good so far for this series. And just getting to the 2-3 series, the Brooklyn Milwaukee series. This time, Mete, I'm going to start with you. I guess who did you have winning the series and how many games? And I guess how's it looking so far?
So I'm pretty sure I had Nets in 7. Right now, it's kind of looking shaky with both Kyrie and James Harden out for Game 5. Um, I'm gonna stick with the Nets. I believe in their depth. They just got to show up. I feel like they'll still go 7 games, and yeah, I'm sticking with my original prediction.
Yeah, for sure. I guess Kevin Durant is definitely someone you can believe in. I mean, he's done it on pretty much every stage in his career to this point. Um, I mean, he's done it whether it's on stacked teams, on weak teams. He's just been the best player every single time. So I think that he's definitely going to have to be that player if they want to win this series. And Nate, I'll get to you. I guess what was your prediction for the series and how's it working out?
I think I had the Nets in 6. I mean, mathematically they still could win in 6, but it's looking a lot more shaky, as Mete said, with both James Harden and Kyrie Irving out. The Nets still have the personnel to definitely compete with the Bucks, if not beat them outright still. But this is also the Bucks' perfect opportunity to take Game 5. If the Bucks take Game 5, they pretty much have command of the series, and it's basically on the Nets to try to take it back. I was actually thinking, should I switch to the Bucks in 7? But I guess I'll stick with the Nets for now. Put them in the Nets in 7.
Yeah, for sure. It is going to be a tough road for Brooklyn, like you guys have said. With a lot of injuries, I guess a guy like Blake Griffin's going to have to step up and sort of be one of those top acquisitions that the team brought in, and just step into the role they envisioned for him. And then just getting to you, Terry, on I guess your prediction for this series and how it's turning out.
I think I had probably 2, 3 predictions. Before the whole series started, I think I had Nets in 6. Then after game 1, when we did our episode, I think that I had them in 4, maybe 5. Now after the 2 injuries, I think the Bucks might even win it. I feel bad for whoever bets on this series. And having said that, I don't think anyone outside of Milwaukee had faith in them. With that being said, I'll still stick to my prediction, even though it's already probably broken. I think I had Nets in 5 at this rate, but at this, Kevin Durant's going to have to pull off a miracle by himself if he wants to do this. We just heard Harden's out, Kyrie's out. It's going to be Blake Griffin in the bench to help out Durant tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even a guy like Joe Harris is going to have to step up in the series as well. Yeah, I believe I had Brooklyn, whether it was 5 or 6, I don't remember, but they're going to have to pull off a miracle if that's going to happen. I'm actually liking Milwaukee in 6 here. That's just determined by whether those two players sit out again in game 6. If either Kyrie or Harden can come back and sort of lighten the load for Kevin Durant, then we might be looking at a Nets in 7. I don't know if one of you guys predicted that. I think Mete, you might have been the one that said Nets in 7. That might actually happen if they can get one or both players back for game 6. So we'll definitely have to see how this series shapes out. But I definitely want to move into previewing the upcoming schedule in the NBA. I guess moving forward to Tuesday's game featuring this series. Definitely we can take a look at the lines. As of right now, the Bucks are favored by 3 points. Yeah, it's just one of those things where they see the Nets have a lot of injuries. Even though they're at home, they're still not giving them the benefit of the doubt. Mete, I'll start with you here. I guess, do you see the Bucks winning and covering 3?
I think that's a fair line for the Bucks without Kyrie and Harden playing this game. I think the Bucks can cover this for sure.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the way the series has gone, a lot of the games have been close. So having it about a 3-point spread seems to be about right, considering how all the games have gone. I know teams have been trying to tie up the game late at the end there in most of these games. So I think that's definitely something to keep an eye out for in this game. And just getting to you, Terry, I guess, who do you like in this game? And if it's Milwaukee, do they cover the spread?
Spread you said was 3.5 and 3. So having said that, I mean, if Kyrie, well, not if they are out, Kyrie and Harden. So I would take the Bucks, but for some reason I feel like this is a trap. Something's gonna happen, but I mean, just not to overthink it. Bucks take them with the spread at 3.5 or 3 at the moment.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like a trap considering that Brooklyn is at home, so you can never count out a home team. I guess getting to you, Nate. I guess who do you like here, and if it's the Bucks, do they cover?
It's kind of hard to say. I think the Nets are projected higher, but that's assuming James Harden and Kyrie are in, which they're not. So these two teams are a lot closer now, and I mean this is pretty much like the perfect opportunity for the Bucks to kind of take control of the series. So I guess going with the Bucks for now is, I guess I'll just go with the Bucks for now.
Yeah, I know that the Bucks seem like the likely pick here. It's really tough because we don't know how this Brooklyn team will respond without two of their stars. I know the Bucks made quick work of this Nets team in the regular season when they were missing multiple stars. So I think I would lean the Bucks just slightly in this game. They probably will cover the spread if they do win, considering how uh, the games have been about 3 point spreads or so. Like I think they have the line at the right spot. It's just going to be really interesting to see how this Nets team can sort of adjust. I think Terry, you were talking about Steve Nash, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, just sort of making adjustments there, and yeah, he's definitely going to have to do something if the Nets want to turn it around in this game. But I mean, they have home court advantage. That's definitely something that you can't sleep on for sure. And then just moving into Wednesday, it'll be game 5 of this Phoenix series, not Phoenix, Philly series. Yeah, just looking at it, the 76ers are home. No spread for it yet, so we'll just, I guess, pick winners here. Terry, this time I'm going to start with you. I guess if Philly's up 3-1, do they close it out? And if it's 2-2, I guess who takes this series?
Feel like if Philly's up 3-1, they close out. It's home court, as we all know. Even though Danny Green is considered, I believe he's out for this game. Not 1,000% sure, but having said that, you got guys like Frank Kormaz and then I believe Seth Curry that they're filling into the role of being that 3-point shooter. You always hope for Danny Green's defense with his length and his capability of blocking up a passing lane. But having said that, if it's a 2-2 series, um, not 1,000% sure, but I might still go with Philly. Uh, Joel Embiid's still a beast in the paint at the 3-point line, and he has to deal with Clint Capella. Sometimes I feel like he's more of an interior defender out compared to him being on the perimeter. So I'll take Philly.
Yeah, definitely. I think that Philly has the slight advantage here. I think I'm also going to go with Philly in this game, regardless of a game 4 win or loss. I think that home court advantage is huge for the 76ers. They realized that they lost that home court advantage early in game 1, and then they just came back right in game 2 and just made sure to lock it down. So I definitely like Philly heading in. But Nate, just getting to you, I guess, who do you like in game 5, depending on which way the series is at the time?
I think that either way, I would still take the 76ers, mainly because I feel like they have more balanced offense than the Hawks do. The Hawks have lights out shooting, but you have good shooting days, you have bad shooting days. And 76ers, they don't necessarily have bad shooters either. They have Tobias Harris, they have Danny Green, they have Seth Curry. So they can keep up. Ben Simmons, he might not be a shooter, but he can lock up your best player. So um, 76ers have a balanced offense and they have better defense than the Hawks. So um, I think if the Hawks take this game, they might be able to go the distance, but I think the 76ers should still come up on top.
Yeah, definitely. I think I can agree with most of the points that you said there. And I guess finishing with you, Mete, on this game, I guess which way are you leaning depending on what the score is in the series?
Yeah, I'm with you guys here. I don't think it will matter if it's 3-1 or 2-2. I'm just going with the Sixers due to the fact that they're home. I believe they're the better team, and yeah, it's just for the spread. If it's like a big margin, I'd be kind of careful on betting on the Sixers. But if it's under, like, let's say 7 or 8, I'd be comfortable taking the Sixers even for a spread.
Yeah, absolutely. Sixers at home seems like a good play, regardless of the spread. Obviously, one or two scores is probably the right way to go when it comes to the spread. But let's just move now to Game 5 of the Utah series. Um, I guess Utah is home for this game. Series will either be 3-1 Utah or 2-2 Utah and Clippers. So, Nate, I'll start with you. I guess who do you like in this game, depending on the series score?
Think I'd still kind of go with the Jazz even with Conley out. They're both very deep teams, but I feel like the Jazz should be able to keep up with the Clippers, and I do have the Jazz winning the series, so I'll go with the Jazz.
Yeah, definitely. The home court advantage helps out the Jazz, but I guess Mete, just getting to you. Um, I guess depending on the score of the series, who do you like in Game 5?
All right, so let's say the Jazz are up 3-1 here. I would go with the Clippers. Um, just due to the fact that my prediction was Clippers in seven, and I'll back the Clippers even on the road. We saw them win, was it two or three games against the Mavericks? They were winning quite a few
Yeah, they
road
did. Yeah.
games. So they're good on the road. It just depends on the season, the series for me. If it's 2-2, I think I'd go with the Jazz and then predict the Clippers to win out the rest of the series.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I do have Utah winning in six, so this is pretty much a must win. If it's 2-2, if it's 3-1, like you said, it is possible for the Clippers to win. I'm probably still going to lean Jazz either way, just because I feel like Donovan Mitchell will have had a game to sort of, I guess, just test out his ankle just to see where it's at. And if he needs to sit for a little bit in Game 4, I feel like he'll be more ready to come out for Game 5. And I guess we don't know Mike Conley's status. He's probably going to be out, but I guess you never know. Any additions to this team is obviously a benefit, considering how deep Utah already is. Any extra players they can add definitely helps their cause, I guess, in any game. But just getting to you, Terry, considering the different scenarios in the series, I guess, who do you see taking Game 5?
Well, as Mente already said, Mavericks, even when they were at home, they lost all their games to this experienced Clipper team. Having said that, if Mike Conley does come back, uh, you get to decide who you put on the bench, whether it's Joe Ingles or Royce O'Neal. Having said that, that's one less guy to worry about when it comes to their scoring um, on the bench. But if Conley is out, I feel like Utah is going to struggle a little bit when it comes to this bench scoring. And having said that, I feel like the Clippers might win it if Conley is out. So having said that, Conley is a big factor for this Utah Jazz team. You won't have to rely on guys like Royce or Ingles to score in the starting lineup. So you get that experienced point guard with Donovan Mitchell in the backcourt. So that is going to be a plus. But if that doesn't happen, we might see not another 0-2 sweep, but we'll see another Clipper magic or whatever you want to call it at this point.
Yeah, I don't know how the Clippers do it coming back and like pretty much trailing series and then just bringing it back. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty interesting game, I guess, nonetheless, whether it's 3-1 or 2-2. And I guess that's pretty much the end of the Big Time Basketball episode. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram and Twitter at FanFan Podcast. And then I guess for the podcast, just check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Like, subscribe, share. I guess for YouTube, click the bell for notifications. Just leave us a review, all that good stuff. And thanks again, guys. It was a great episode. And then we'll talk to you guys on the next episode.